Journal's decision makers.
And we welcome back an old friend, Kent Carper, president of the Kanawha County Commission, also former police chief of Charleston, lawyer, trial lawyer. I mean, he's done it all. Welcome back.
Because I never could find a job I could keep.
I know that's not true because you're the longest serving president of the Kanawha County Commission.
I think that's true.
Also welcoming for the first time Roman Stauffer, who is the executive director of the West Virginia Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse, a nonprofit organization with 30,000 members. And I will say that you have congratulated West Virginia that we're no longer a judicial hellhole.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity.
So, gentlemen, what I want to talk about is a lawsuit that's coming up in Harrison County, starts tomorrow. And I want to mention to our viewers that we reached out to the plaintiff's attorney involved in this, Michael Fuller, who's out of Mississippi and Florida, and we also reached out to representatives of the defendant Manor Healthcare. Neither one could come on, but I'm having you all in because you both represent different sides of the conversation that we're going to have. But I'd like to start by thinking back, because I think there was a similar lawsuit involving the same plaintiff's attorney, the same defendant, although it was Heartland of Charleston, that took place starting back in 2010, 2011. And I want to walk through the facts there, and then I want to get into a conversation. But I just sort of think we need a baseline of facts. So Michael Fuller from Mississippi and Florida, as I mentioned, is the lawyer, and Manor Healthcare is, in fact, the defendant. So back 2010, Michael Douglas sued Heartland Manor Care of West Virginia. He filed it May 27, 2010, claiming abuse and neglect by Heartland in the death of his 87-year-old mother, who suffered from Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's disease, and other problems. Heartland she was at a nursing home. She was there for only 19 days. The family then transferred her to the Huntington Heritage Center. She was there for 18 days, where she died. The patient refused medication once she got to the Huntington Heritage Center. The family stopped all medication except for morphine. She died 3 days later. The autopsy said that the death certificate says that she died of dementia. The jury awarded the Douglas family, this is in August of 2011, $91.5 million. Extremely large verdict. And then on September 12th, ABC News reported that Robin Davis's husband, Scott Siegel, sold his airplane to the attorney in the case, Michael Fuller, for $1 million. ABC also reported that Michael Fuller bundled $35,000 plus for Judge Davis in the re-election campaign. AB News investigator Brian Roberts reported in a series called Learjet Justice that this raised ethical concerns. And I guess the question that I would ask, Davis was the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court at the time. She wrote the opinion. And I'll start with you. Should she have recused herself from this opinion?
If she knew about it. But
she knew about the airplane.
No, she didn't. And that's what's amazing about this. By the way, this has been done about 3 or 4 times by them. This was looked at. In fact, Mr. Stauffer over here, I think he worked for Mr. Maloney then when he ran unsuccessfully for governor. Mr. Maloney filed a complaint himself, made it public against Justice Davis. It was looked at very carefully. It was a bogus complaint. Now, let's make sure we understand something.
Well, wait a minute.
She didn't know. She's not a member of the law firm. She doesn't know who their clients are. I mean, that's the way it really works. She did not know who bought it. That's been looked at carefully.
I will just say,
facts are stubborn things.
You know, but appearances are nasty things.
Yes.
And the appearance is, and even Scott Siegel said in interviews later that he should have revealed that should have been revealed by Fuller to the other side, the sale of the plane.
All I know is the premise of your question, as I recall your question, was should she have disclosed that? She didn't know it. Right. I know Justice Davis. I've known Justice Davis for a long time. We are not friends. We don't exchange cards.
Did you work on that case?
No. I did later on help him a little bit after the fact. But no, I did not work on that case, and this case is going to trial Monday. I'm not working on that either.
Okay, so you have no business dealings with Mr. Fuller?
Absolutely, I do. In fact, I disclosed. Of course, I did. I disclosed that when I was on the other show. Absolutely, I do. Not a lot. Probably 85% of what I do is car wreck cases in the legal sense. So I don't do many, but yes, I do. And the reason why I work with him, he's honest, ethical, and he's an excellent attorney. By the way, he's also a good friend of mine.
Roman, let me ask you, what is your position as it relates to the disclosure situation?
Bray, thanks for the opportunity to talk about this very important issue. We believe that Justice Davis should have disclosed this business transaction. We believe that she should have recused herself from the Manor Care case, and we believe that she should recuse herself from all cases involving this law firm. I tend to disagree with Mr. Carper. I think someone on the Supreme Court told ABC News that Justice Davis was aware of the sale of the airplane. I believe that her husband said on statewide radio that she was aware of the sale of the airplane. And we believe her not disclosing it has created a questionable situation of impropriety. I'm not alleging that, but I think it creates the appearance of that. And the Code of Judicial Conduct says that a judge should hold themselves higher than that, and if there is even the questionable appearance of impropriety, that a judge should recuse himself.
So
this is simple. She either knew it or she didn't know it, and that's absolutely inaccurate. The conversation was, did she know about it after the case and after the fact? She did not know who bought the airplane. At least that's what she says, and I've known her for a long time. She is a decent, honest person. She says she didn't know it. I believe her.
Okay, well, let's then look forward here a little bit, because she now knows it.
Yes.
She now knows that Fuller, and there's a whole inexplainable series of contributions that Mr. Fuller bundled for Davis, $36 million.
How much?
I'm sorry, $36,000. And I don't understand that. I mean, if she took money from him, why would he do all of that, and why did these people give money out of Florida to Robin Davis?
Because they practice law here on a regular basis.
Well, no, but some of these people are people of modest means who've never made a political donation in their life and have never, ever met Mrs. Davis, been to West Virginia, or know of her.
If I'm not mistaken, there was a case after this in the inner period of time where she did recuse herself. But you know, that's an interesting thing.
Should she recuse herself on this case if it goes to the court?
Last thing I do is go around giving judges advice on what they should do. You know, it's interesting because I proposed and didn't get much help from anybody that there should be a recusal process in West Virginia. It was a subject of the last judicial election, the one before this one, and it didn't go anywhere. This is a difficult thing to do. You have to make a decision whether or not you trust and believe in the Constitution of this state, the United States, and it gives people the right to a fair trial. There was 4 other people and other justices involved in this case, and the result was, on review, including Justice Davis, they cut that jury verdict, and they cut it like they had a machete on it. So the system actually worked pretty good.
Roman, I want to ask you, do you think that Justice Davis, given the political donations, given the airplane sale, should make sure that she's not involved in any cases at the Supreme Court involving Mr. Fuller?
We do believe that she should recuse herself in all future cases involving Mr. Fuller. I think if the average West Virginian looks at the facts of this case, and I think they would reasonably believe that Justice Davis should recuse herself. It would protect the integrity of the court, and that's what we believe.
Well, I have a question. Who's we? When Mr. Stauffer says we, who's he talking about? Who's we?
Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse has 30,000 members across the state of West Virginia. We're a grassroots.
Can you give me a name of 5 citizens of this state? No, this is important. 5 citizens of this state that you're speaking for that are your members. Your members are secret.
That's not true at all.
Oh, so
We have 30,000 grassroots members across the state of West Virginia who come out to our small business.
I'll be honest, I don't want to have a debate on who they are. What I want to do is get through this.
Well, if we're talking about money and we're talking about people recusing themselves, they raise money and they spend a heck of a lot of money in elections, but their list of their members are secret. Now, if that's not true, just say what I said wasn't true.
So I want to talk.
I didn't hear him say anything.
Well, like I said, we're here to talk about the Fuller Heartland case, and I think that's the subject. Not, I mean, I know this is a common talking point.
Always want to know who the messenger is.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of times when we never know who it is.
Not in their case.
So I talked.
Mr. Fuller's contributions were legal, documented, and that's why you know what they are.
Well, I want to bring up the legality point.
Sure.
On Friday afternoon, I talked to a gentleman named Kevin Daly. He's a reporter for the Daily Caller website. It's a political website, it's a conservative website, has over 100 million clicks per month, so it's a pretty active website. He has reported that he has talked to people close to a federal investigation that said that Michael Fuller is, in fact, the subject of a federal investigation surrounding these donations.
And who's this person?
Kevin Daly.
Where does he live?
He lives up in New York.
Well, I'm not going to speak about something like that there's no proof of who it is, what their motives are, who they work for.
Right. Well, I told you who he worked for. He works for the website. It's a political website. He also suggested that he has uncovered one of the people making donations to Robin Davis made one donation under her maiden name and one donation under her married name, both maxed out at $1,000, which would, if it's true, would be illegal.
If that's true, that would be illegal. I made a donation to her.
Under your maiden name?
I don't have a maiden name. Boys don't get to do that. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and respond to anonymous people from conservative think tanks in New York. I live here in West Virginia.
Well, let me ask you this, because we all live here in West Virginia. We're struggling with jobs. Companies don't want to come here. These are the kind of lawsuits that scare companies because the verdicts are so outrageously large. What do we do? How do we balance out the fairness issue that you have?
The system worked. The system worked. It went to the Supreme Court, and the justice they're complaining about participated in reducing that verdict.
But if she had recused herself, there may not have been any verdict. It could have gone a different way because she wasn't involved in the
well,
conversation.
coulda, woulda, shoulda. I don't believe that.
Well, you don't know.
Well, we know this. A jury returned this verdict. A jury. You know, our forefathers were very careful when they set up our system of government. And one thing they did, they wanted to make sure we had a right to bear arms. It's in the Constitution. They wanted to make sure we had freedom of speech. They were even concerned about your all's freedom of the press. But I'll tell you what they were more concerned about than anything else. They wanted to make sure, because they saw what happened in other countries, they wanted a free judiciary and they wanted a right to a jury trial.
All right. Well, thank you very much, both of you all, for being here. We'll have more on this as the
I'm a product of public schools.
As we all are.
As we all are.
I'm from Boone County, my friend. We'll be right back after this.